long bit. Better draft. Well, welcome back to the SSL Family Dad channel. We're out here with our second boil of the year, 2020, and we're getting ready to boil a pretty good amount this time. This week I already have 85 gallons in the tank, and I have a collection to do today before things freeze tonight. We're supposed to get a cold snap coming through tonight, and so what I like to do is I'll run the sap in here, we'll get this thing heated up and get it boiling. Once this thing is hot, I come out here about once an hour, once every 2 hours, and I fill it full of pallet wood. Sometimes I'll go out and get some dead trees and things off the property, or if I have extra wood around, I'll throw it in there. But generally, for the last 2 years anyway, I've been burning a lot of pallets. You see smoke, there's fires all over here. We've got the wood boiler heating the greenhouse, that's kicked on right now, and so there's smoke everywhere. We've got the maple syrup evaporator we're running, and then we've got a wood stove inside. We burn a lot of wood here. So we're gonna let this thing heat up and get to boiling, and while this is boiling, we'll go out and start collecting, grab another tank full of sap, and keep feeding it in here. Let's get to work. All right, well, we've been boiling here for a couple hours anyway. We've gone through maybe, I don't know, 20 gallons or so of sap, I would say. We've gone down about halfway. This pan holds about 50 gallons, so fire's been going pretty good. I have to come out about every hour for pallets, because the pallets they burn quick and hot, but they don't burn very long. So I may throw a few logs in there just to help hold the heat a little longer. It's now time to get out and collect up all the sap that's in the field. So we're gonna head out to the sugar bush, which is right out there, and we're gonna get the waders on. Unfortunately, it's still wet out there, of course, and we're gonna collect up all the sap that we can get. We'll keep track of how much we get today, and we'll add it all together for this boil and see how much syrup we're gonna get out of it. Well, it is about 9 o'clock at night. I had to take off for a few hours, and so the fire kind of went out. But I was able to top off the evaporator. You can see the sap's getting that amber color, so the sugar content's starting to get higher in there. It's starting to look darker and darker, but we still have quite a bit of sap to run through here. That looks like, so that's 75 gallons right there. So we have a little less than that we still need to run through. I won't be able to get through all of it tonight, but I do have a pretty decent fire going in there right now. And I'll let this run for the next hour or so. I'll come out and I'll load it one more time, and we'll see where we're at. I'll top the evaporator off, make sure it's nice and full, and then we'll just cover it up for the night, let it go, and then I'll start it up again tomorrow morning. Well, it's the next day here, and I just there was still a lot of coals in there, so I threw some wood in about 2 hours ago, and just threw some more pellets in there. But we boiled through that whole pan, so it was about 40 gallons we went through overnight, just kind of letting it sit. This evaporator holds so much heat with all these cinder blocks, and you remember that pan sits about 8 inches down in to those blocks. And man, when you get this thing going, it heats up and holds that heat, and it just keeps, it's maybe not boiling overnight, but it's still evaporating all night long. And so, you know, just with one good load of wood before I went to bed about 11:30 last night, I came out in the morning, and, you know, it was down pretty low here. So, but now we're getting down to about the bottom. We're getting close to syrup. I can I can smell it. It smells like maple syrup. So we got to get some more sap in here. I've got about 50 gallons left in here that I got to get out, but it went down to about 20 degrees last night, and it's all frozen. So I got to thaw this thing out, start to get some more sap loaded in this pan. Well, the plan was to get the rest of the sap in there so I could use my truck and go out and get some wood, but I don't think it's all going to fit. That pan's just about filled up, so we'll see if we can squeak another 10 gallons in there. Well, we've been boiling here for a good portion of the afternoon. I have been in and out of the house and around and getting wood and other things, but so this is the last of the 140 gallons that we had collected, and again, we're on our second day of boiling here. But once it gets boiling real good like this, I've been feeding it some kind of wet wood, but you'll notice it gets some foam on it and little impurities in the sap and other things that got through the pre-filter and things like that. I'll just come by and kind of clean those things out and get that, just keep that clean on the top. A lot of these bubbles, it foams up just from the boiling process, but we want to keep any of that dirt out of there, any of the impurities, anything we don't want in the final result. Now, the nice thing about syrup is that you have to boil it for a long time, so it's completely sterile. And it gets filtered several times too. So I filter it before it comes into this pan, and then it also gets filtered once I get to the bottom of this. When we put it into another container to take it inside to finish it, I'll filter it again, and then we'll boil it inside again, and then once we're done inside, it'll get filtered again before it gets bottled. And so you get lots of opportunities to make sure that it's 100% pure and clean. I did a quick run out and grabbed a bunch of black locust. This stuff's been down. This tree's been down for probably 3 or 4 years, and it still isn't really dried out. It wasn't even laying on the ground, but man, this stuff this black locust is just heavy. It makes great fence posts and other things, but it's not what I need right now. I need firewood, so this will burn pretty good in there. And man, this stuff holds coals real good. It'll stay nice and hot in that evaporator. The pellets do a great job of getting a good hot fire going quickly, but man, is it a lot of work feeding pellets in here all the time. You got to come out here every hour. Now with this black locust and a bunch of logs in here, this will be good for a few hours. I can check on it in maybe 3 or 4 hours. It'll be almost done. Yeah. It's boiling just perfectly right now. All right, we just keep checking on it here. It's hard boiling now. It's boiling real good. That fire is something hot. And one of the biggest comments I got on this evaporator build was, you can't use cinder blocks. Those aren't fire rated. You need fire bricks and all these other things. And if you look in there, there's not a single crack on any of that cinder block yet, and it is hot in there. Now it will crack eventually. There'll be some cracks, but it's doing the job it needs to do. All right, we're down to the bottom. Alright, so at this point we're to the bottom of the pan, and I don't want to burn anything, so we're going to add a little bit of fresh cold sap just to make sure that everything is cooled down. I've doused the fire. So it's going to take a little bit of extra finishing. But now it's cooled down, so we're ready to get it out of the pan here and get it ready to take inside. So I'm just running this through another pre-filter just to make sure anything that's in here we get filtered out. I'm running this in a pan or a pot, and I'll take this and then I'll dump it into containers. Only thing left to do now is just rinse this out and keep a couple inches of water in the pan. That just the fire, and then even though I soaked it with water and put it out, it'll evaporate that water out and it'll start back up, and this will start to steam out. We don't want to burn the pan, so we'll just always keep a little bit of water in it. Well, this is what we end up with. It's about 5 gallons of concentrate in here, and I got another maybe 2.5 gallons in this pot here. So this gets taken inside now, and this will get filtered again, and then it will get boiled down to the proper sugar content, which is, I believe, it's 66%. We'll go into more of the details on that in another video. Making maple syrup is definitely a time-consuming process, especially when you're using you know, the equipment that I have, kind of hobbled together stuff. Of course, just getting started off here the first few years, I'm learning how to do this more efficiently, and I'm learning what equipment to invest in, and what things that I can, you know, where I can target and put money so that I can make this operation better. And we'll keep doing that. There's lots more trees out there to tap, and lots more sap in the area to get and boil and make into awesome maple syrup. So it smells so good out here. You know, this is just about maple syrup. You can taste it, you can smell it, and the steam coming off that pan It's just it's sweet and it's awesome. So it's cool to be out here and be part of this. It's a lot of work, but it's still a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys enjoyed coming along on the process that that I'm taking here to evaporate and boil down this maple syrup. Got rid of all that water, and now we're just about there. Don't forget to hit thumbs up on today's video, and of course subscribe if this is your first time to the SSL Family Dad channel. I'd love to have you tag along for all the maple syrup and other things that we do here. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.